Welcome to today's project, replacing a school PA system. So this was once a Duquesne Star Call system, which is completely zonable so you can page anywhere you want, but they wanted to convert it to a simple 2-zone system, and they really screwed things up. I've never seen anything quite like this. Here's where all the wires would connect to the switching cards for the zones. You can see they absolutely just went through and cut everything. They cut all this, screwed it all up. The wires, what's supposed to happen, this amplifier here, the signal comes in, it goes through the amplifier, it gets switched on these cards to whatever speakers you want, and then each of these pairs goes to the right speakers. There's also call and privacy switches that I'll show you on the actual speakers that come into here. But they cut everything and try to make it one zone. Now the problem is that there's a dead short. They're not using, none of this is hooked up anymore. This here is my new PA rack that I'm installing. And if we come across the hall, that's just a regular speaker. All the hall speakers are wired together in one zone like normal. This here, this is the switch. These are the classroom speakers. So far I've traced out the wire for the hall speakers, so those are all working, and I found the wiring for the outside speakers. The problem is they went and twisted everything together, so none of our classrooms are working anywhere in the building. So I'll show you what they did in the boiler room because it's pretty entertaining. Welcome to the boiler room. That's where they put the amplifiers for the PA system. So you can see they took a rack shelf, screwed it backwards to the wall, and then put these up. Now this is some real quality stuff right here. You can see they ran everything over here. There's a network switch. That's not us, so I'll have to move that out of the way. And this is all gonna go. Get rid of this, everything's going in the office now. And a bunch of the phone wiring and PA system wiring will come in here and then go off to wherever. But I don't really have to worry about this cabinet because it all should be coming to the office. Now they did do some butchery in here. Like this Ethernet cable is actually hooked up to these, and it's what's supplying the office. So this is some real clever stuff. This thing is blistering hot, so it must have been completely shorted out. But let's go back to the office. That's some old technology right there. Just look how good this is. They cut all of this, every single one of these, and just twisted them together. And somewhere there's a short, like even these were hooked together. So this never worked. So no wonder they gave up on having classroom speakers. But really, they just fucked this up. They connected things randomly. So we're kind of gonna have to forget about all of this wiring and trace everything out. So if you look, I have the wiring hooked up to this pair. So I got to disconnect. These each go to the classrooms, and this goes to our main PA rack, so I'm just gonna put it on one pair. So I gotta disconnect all of these and hook them all up to the one wire, so I'll show you when that's done. Rust. Oh, take me back to the back in the office here, I mounted this Bix block in the back, and that's where all the wires go off to our classrooms. These are all tucked here because they don't do anything. The most important ones are there. Now, actually, our outdoor speakers run through here, so we'll hook that to the other amplifier. And then I've taken this piece of wire mold off the wall, and next to this cabinet's coming off the wall along with the wires that come out the top. I just disconnected that all because none of it does anything anymore. So let's get that done. All the wires in there are hooked up properly. So now we have music in this wing of the school. Look at this. Water's just been leaking on the amplifiers. I'm sure that really helped. This thing is actually hot enough that I can't even comfortably pick it up. It's like blistering hot. So I basically got to disconnect this wiring because this is what comes from our telephone system. I believe it's from down there. No, one of them. It goes somewhere. And we're just gonna actually jump these together because the other wire goes right to the office, and then that'll allow me to hook up the paging in the office. All right. Here's the final installation. We have our mixer, CD player, aux in, an amp for outside and an amp for inside. Each amp has 2 inputs. One comes from the phone system and one comes from the mixer. And the wiring is simply coming out the back. One goes into this junction box where we connected all those wires. The other one straight up